what we're attempting to do is get the deepest NI understanding so that we can actually own the human need of each one of these parts. Because based on the belief, both Dave and I believe to the depths of our souls that every single sentence, the person is just spitting out their functions. It's just a receipt. It's just spitting out of the computer. And if that's true, based on that belief system, then there should be the code in every single sentence. It should be very easy to track. If that is actually true, then it's only not being able to see it is only based on our ability to interpret the information.
Yeah. Defined by what does a person feel responsible for and what are they afraid of? Mm-hmm. So let me say that. It's what are you responsible for and what are you afraid of?
Not from your own perspective.
So
let me clarify that.
Yeah. So that blows away 99% of people is that they're just going, no, but this is what I was saying. Yeah. This is what I meant. This is what I wanted to do. But they have no idea what their core fears are that's actually driving them. They're just believing the surface level shit, And it takes a lot of self-work to get down to, wait, why am I really motivated or scared or afraid? Why does Sacha Baron Cohen, why does he really want to go harass politicians?
Right.
What's that really about? So you got to get down to mommy issues. And
the extreme.
To the genetic core where it comes down to one word.
Right.
So for example, watching double observers and double deciders or single observers, single deciders, it's the observers, EPs and IJs, ultimately what we're seeing, when we get it down to the word stuck, the observers have a fear of I'm going to get killed off the tribe if I'm stuck. So the printer, the laptop, the Illuminati, I'm gonna jail, prison, I'm going to get stuck or killed off. Think about jail, for example, in the movie, the bad guy is what? He's either killed
or put in jail permanently.
There you go.
Yeah.
They either kill him off or they throw him in prison.
Right.
And so I know for myself as well, and talking to observers every fucking day, talking to crazy observers on the phone every fucking day, just going, it's all the same. I know it's very everybody gets down to in some way, shape, or form feeling stuck in life, don't know what to college, don't know which way, whatever, computer. Yeah. And then the EJs and the IPs is just this weird damn people game.
Judged. Where you are at on the scale. We were even talking about it, what is it? Because we spend a lot of time on these words. Is this what encapsulates what we see repetitively over time by the thousands? We're watching thousands of people. Does this word encapsulate it? And we'll put these in here for a while, and then it'll be actually, it's not stuck. It's this, and we'll adjust that over time because we're what is the word or what is the wording that can hold on to that NI concept that we see repetitively over time? Because you'll still hear IJ saying stuck. You'll hear EP saying stuck. It's okay, so why? And then, of course, there's information deeper at the core for the deciders. The judged thing is coming from, if we're in the room and you have an opinion and it's different from my opinion, you will judge my opinion, and then I will not be allowed to have my opinion. Then I won't get to have my way.
Judged, opinion,
see how
allowed.
Weird these words are?
I these words are
Decider words.
Crazy words.
And I'm just looking at I know this is batshit, but I'm obligated to spit out whatever my code is, so I can keep hearing the reoccurring phrasing.
Stuck, never again, won't work, trapped forever.
Forever talk. And I'm what the hell? And so of course it's going to feel weird. You're embarrassed, and this is what we do all the time. I'm okay, I'm gonna just go after this. This sounds so batshit. I can't even believe I'm saying this. But yeah, I guess it is slave, master, judged, just condemned from the tribe.
So the deciders seem to be obsessed about. They're just this little pyramid of where they are and where everybody else is. And it does feel like that TV show Survivor Island or whatever. It's you're going to get killed off. Nobody likes you. You're the worst. Get the hell out of here. We want you dead.
Yeah.
Or I fell into a trap. I got stuck. I went to jail and I'm still getting killed off. So you're getting killed off. You're getting killed off one way or the other.
Right. Right.
And then these are the original 4 human needs, the Tony Robbins human needs. That's where we really started to crack the code to begin with years ago.
Yes.
And that is the OE and OY, let's start with that. The OE is options open. And gathering new, options open, and therefore there's a fear and a panic when the options start to close up. Narrow down. No more gathering new.
And I'll notice with the OEs, they will hijack the word planning. I see every EP hijacking the word planning. They're I plan. It's you'll see the EPs hijack the word planning. And when you get to the core of what the human need is, they're I'm planning to make sure that I have as many options available.
And they'll say it right in front of your face. You're
I planned my vacation. Planned what? To have all of these excursions. You're dipshit. That's not narrowing down. But you have to be careful about using the word planning because I have a definition for the word planning, and they have a completely different word.
That's where Myers-Briggs. So that's where it's like Myers-Briggs land, where you're writing out long descriptions. Remember, like you look up Myers-Briggs, like type in SI, history and ornaments and likes Christmas, and like everyone's like, I do that, I do that, I do that, I do that. So like when you write out these long descriptions, everybody's going to go, I do that, or I don't do that.
Yeah.
But if you get it down to the core of like, okay, what are your mommy issues? What is this really about?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, I'm panicking if I feel like I don't have more options.
Right.
Or are you panicking if you don't have it narrowed down to one option? Why? Because the OI is responsible of like, look, before I go on the next fucking vacation, I have to perfect and work out this current vacation.
Yeah.
I don't want to run to the next thing until I have this one done. And that's why the OI keeps wanting to go back over the same shit.
Yeah.
And then DI and DE, it's like, the DE is like fairsies, respecting others. The DI is like perfecting self, kind of an OI. Now, this is probably going to change over time, get the words a little tweaked in.
But like, we're just slapping this out there and being like, okay, what is it that they're doing? I don't care what it is from their perspective, because their perspective is always going to be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm constantly helping others.
Right.
Talk a little bit about sensing and intuition here.
That's been the one we've been studying the past couple of weeks or so. And all of these are great because you and I are complete opposites. So it's like,
I know.
You know, we can see each one from looking at each other.
Like,
so it's
what
like,
is it that I'm doing?
Yeah, sensing is like, it has to prove the fucking case. So it's like when you're telling stories, it has to give all the details and all the examples.
That's what it's about, proving.
And just like the intuitive dominant is just like, what am I reading all this information out of a book for? What is this going to? What's the overview? Like, what is the overview? Is this information that I even need to fucking know?
Right.
And it just wants to jump to the overview. Like right now, I'm not even going to give examples. I'm going to just say it and then just jump on.
I know. And that's why I talk a little bit too much, because especially for me with SE, like I'm obligated to give another example. Okay, that one didn't work. Let me give another example. Okay, that one didn't work. Let me give another example. This is what's so interesting too, is I will see in our emails all the time. This is a very common reoccurrence where we'll have SEs come to us and they're like, I'm struggling because I'm Savior Intuitive. And you're like, okay. But the problem is your entire email is like an absolute like crazy ass
all this proof of why you're Savior Intuitive.
Proof. Here's an example. Here's another example. Here's an example. Here's an example. Let me show you the censor of what I actually wrote on the Facebook group. Let me show you the meme picture that I showed to the Facebook group. Like they're like proving their case.
Right.
Of like I actually did the censor. I said all of the censor so that you could believe that I'm Savior Intuitive.
Right.
And like that's where we catch it. We're not listening to the story the person is telling about themselves. I'm not listening to their conclusions. I'm listening to what is their brain obligated to give out. I'm like, that's what it is. It's like proving a damn case.
Yeah, so that has definitely been working a lot. So for example, like with you and I typing, we're able to figure out whether somebody's sensing or intuitive dominant much, much faster. Like in minutes rather than hours.
Right.
And we're like, this person right away in their language, they're having to prove it. Like we're watching a lot of like DIY shows or whatever, like how to build tables or whatever around the house. The damn intuitive is like, here's what we're going to do, and it's going to be awesome.
And they do it in the first sentence. They're like telling you overview, and then they don't stop repeating the overview. You're like, caught you. Let me guess. I can skip to the halfway mark and the 3/4 mark, and you're still going to be stuck on the same overview of telling me what this whole picture is about. And we never got into the nitty gritty of the details of how to do it.
Right, now, feelers, it seems to be very FE-like. So the FIs are doing what the FEs are doing, but just in their own FI weird way. So the feelers, FI or FE dominant, it's like they're responsible for the vibe. So if you and I are working and the vibe gets off, like I don't care so much about...
responsible for that.
Yeah, I don't care so much about FE on a larger social, grand objective scale. It's just like... Between me and you, I'm responsible for our little weird vibe.
I'm inside your FI.
Right. So what I'm saying is like it's not necessarily that feelers are good at keeping the vibe, because they might be FI or FE or masculine or feminine. Like they are responsible, and the thinkers are like, yeah, let's get the thing done, let's make it work. And so one, like all of these are coins, obviously. So one will trade for the other. Like the more you're worried about keeping the vibe and keep everybody happy, you're not getting dirty to get the fucking thing done.
Completely.
The more
you got to get dirty to get the thing done, and you got to break some people's feelings in order to get the thing done often.
That's how it works. That's how it works. And then learn as we go. This is not a typo.
Learn as we go.
Learn as we
go.
Or
learn as we go.
Yeah,
this is obviously coming from Dave.
Lake as we go.
We see this as a very common thing, is that those that are play above sleep will talk things out and discover it as they're talking. That is something that is absolutely reoccurring and very easy to see once you start seeing that pattern of people going, I don't know, do I do that? I do that. Like that is what play above sleep is. And those that are like, I'm sleep first. And then they're like, yodel, 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 yodel. Like, no, you're not. You're definitely.
But again, that's so funny because everybody's only checking their perspective on themselves.
But I'm so tired, and like you have to be very careful.
Right.
Like
no,
when you go to sign
your own video.
I know.
Go read your own email from the outside.
People
it's totally
don't believe.
Real. It's so crazy. my view of myself and my
It's so
bullshit
hard.
story is so real, and everyone on the outside's like, all right,
It's
whatever.
really hard. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, but like you really are who you are in those videos. Like start recording
Are
yourself.
you doing DE and FE right now?
I am, because I don't want to just shit on everyone, like, because I know how hard that actually is. That's
Yeah,
really hard.
we've all go through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So consume and blast. It's like taking in, like me with SEFI, consume demon. It's just like I have this favorite almond butter at Trader Joe's, and it's just like I won't ever justify the time to just drive down and get it. It's like if I can trick the delivery person or trick you, or if you're driving by, like I'll never make time to go take in for myself.
yourself, I
whether it's
know.
peanut butter or reading information or whatever. It's like a weird thing.
You'd
But-
rather control the tribe to go do it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But then any information I have, like I'm obligated to share it. So I'm obligated to tell you it's the crunchy almond butter at Trader Joe's. That is the one to get FI, FI and blast right there.
That is the best one.
I'll share that with you.
Visual concepts, spatial timelines, that's kind of one we've talked a lot about. But this last one, we're going to really try and get the wording perfected on this one, because I feel like every single masculine DE sees themselves from their feminine DI perspective. So they always misinterpret how they are. Like they very much misinterpret themselves, because they're like, no, the tribe is just assholes. You're like, well, the thing with the masculine DEs, and like you could hear it in my voice, is just very straightforward. It's like shooting straight from the hip, blunt, and a little bit too quick, sometimes
Yeah.
too fast. Will respond very quickly and then have to like backpedal on the backside.
Right.
Whereas the DEs that are feminine, they are like constantly wiggling their words to try and avoid the conflict.
I think feminine FE as a savior is gonna spend the most amount of time trying to figure out how to word things.
Right.
And then the far end of the spectrum, T masculine is the least amount of time. It's just like, here's the truth, and it just says it, because I'll feel myself in the middle where it's like, compared to you, I am spending a lot of time, depending on which mood I'm in. Maybe I'm in a Chevy asshole FI mood, but like when I'm on TE, I'm watching so much brain power go to fucking waste of like, how do I say this pleasantly? How do I not offend? How do I word it right? And I'm just dicking around with so much of this. I'm like, God damn,
so much more time.
If I had TE feminine savior or feminine FE savior, like, holy shit. That's what I love about this straightforward. Like, could you just punch me in the face and fucking get this over with?
I love it, because my goal is to actually help people. So I'm like, okay, are you ready?
So with the sensory, the big thing that we're tracking is, does the person have a spatial timeline? Again, from our perspective, not theirs, because they haven't stared at thousands of other people and they don't know where they land on the spectrum. So that's a huge point right there. People have no idea where they land on the spectrum. They're comparing themselves to their friend.
Or
That's it. And you got to see it within thousands of people. It's like, I suck at timelines. I suck at jumping over fences. I suck at feeling. I suck. Like, hey,
compared to everyone else,
you're actually way in the 90 percentile from our point of view. So that's what we'll see is like, can people play the timeline game? Some better than others. If you have masculine sensory as a demon, savior, yes, that'll make a difference.
Yeah,
versus
totally.
is the person with the masculine intuition doing the visual concepts, or feminine sensory visual concepts.
So we're going to now start using this checklist. So we're taking it for a test run. Let's actually use this, test it out, and then adjust as we go.
As we go.